All right, I apologize if I am even punchier today than I was yesterday. Sass and I had quite the night of it. To start with, yesterday's answers get rock. I have no language. It is my trade and I have no language. So, Anne, you get the pretty pink rock. And Jessica, you get this beautiful marbled green rock. And today we're going to have this bluey purple rock in play at the end. I will give you a question and you will give me answers in the comments. So we're talking about manifesting. You've got a plan. You know what you want. You've written it down. You've spoken it out loud. You have drilled down into your core misbelief, your fundamental misbelief, and you're turning that around and turning it into a mantra. Something that you are going to say every single day, possibly many, many times a day. And it's going to be your core wish is going to be embedded in that mantra. So let's talk about, Stephanie gave me permission to talk about her misbelief that she had run into recently with a manuscript that she had been sending out to trad publishers. And the thing that came up for her was, why bother? Why even bother? It's just going to end up exactly the same. So that kind of, I wasn't there and I didn't talk to her directly, so I am looking at that why bother through the lens of my own experience, my own life experience. And why bother to me sounds quite despairing. And so what I would need to do with that why bother is to dig into the desire, because there is a deep desire underneath that kind of resignation. That is an inverted wish, because actually why bother is, oh, absolutely, I care so much that I have fallen into this place of potentially despair. Anytime you have a big emotion, that is telling you something about what you want. It is telling you something about the shape of your life. One of the reasons that I call this an abundance mindset is because you have control of how you respond. You don't have control over what happens around you. Some of the external stuff around you, you don't have control over. You don't have control over the publishing market. So if, for example, a publisher sends your manuscript back to you and says, not at this moment, you don't know what's going on. You don't know what they're looking for. If you've done your research, you've got an idea about where they are in the market, and maybe they opened the gates and said, we're looking for this particular thing. But it is such a crapshoot. And the gatekeepers are very particular, and they're looking for, I've talked about this before, they're looking for the same thing done differently. And if you don't hit it absolutely on the head, their default answer is no. Now, you have to ask yourself why that matters to you. Why does no matter? Because it is not. I have read your work. I know what a beautiful writer you are. I know that you should be published much more than you are. You're already published, but you should be published much more than you are. If you take that no from them into you as a reflection on your writing, they are driving you. You are no longer driving you. They are driving you. And to understand why you let that happen, why you let somebody else's opinion of you or your work, your novels, your product, why you would take that on board as true, probably has something to do with how you were raised. Certainly has something to do with how I was raised. I was not raised in a way that gave me permission to be the author of me. Praise, I've been working on praise in particular in my own therapeutic work. Praise was not something that was doled out often. Actually, as I said that, I realized that it was never doled out in my life. That wasn't something that you expected. And as it turns out, one of the things I have discovered is that I don't have a praise receptor. So I understand the words when somebody says something nice to me, but it doesn't land. There isn't an emotional receptor for it to land in, and I'm working on that myself. So if you send your manuscript out and it comes back to you with a not right now, no thank you, and you go down into why bother, the depth of that is telling you how much you want it, how much you want your work out in the world. So then you have to make a decision about how you're going to go about that. You go back and you look at your plan and you see whether or not there is something that you can do differently. And you go back to the mindset, you take the and you invert it into because that's what it is. It is upside down desire. Despair is a roadmap to your desire. So to get out of despair, most of what you feel is driven by long ago laid down tracks in your brain, and you need to retrain your brain. So each time you hear a negative, why bother, I'm useless, I'm pointless, I don't deserve, you immediately turn it upside down and you turn it into, I deserve all the good things. You have to retrain yourself. Sometimes you can come at it with like a Socratic method. You take yourself to task about it. You find evidence in the world that shows that you are worth something, and you build a case. But you can also do things to trick the body. So if you fall into some kind of a funk, then one of the things you can do literally to get yourself out of that mindset is to splash cold water on your face. The autonomic nervous system is listening to you. So what you do when you fall into that space matters, because you're either reinforcing it or breaking it and resetting it. And it takes a lot of practice. You have to reset and reset and reset and reset, because these are all tracks you've got going. So snap yourself out of it. The other thing that humans have stopped doing that all other mammals do is to shake themselves. All other mammals shake themselves and get themselves into a different set. We've stopped doing it. But there are scientific studies that show that you can reset your mindset with literally a shake. So get up and move. Put cold water on your face. Start rewriting the desire that you have uncovered through your despair. All right, so I'm just going to look at my notes because I wrote a bunch of notes. Good. Yep, we want to retrain your brain. We want you to be happy in the membrane. There is a bunch more, but I am already over 5 minutes. I really want to move on to talk about craft. So this afternoon, I am going to get Micah to talk about post-apoc with me, because we're missing the panel and we had done quite a lot of prep for it, so we're going to work on that. And we are going to start talking about how this stuff, this manifestation stuff that we've been talking about, connects to your work. So we've been talking about the writer, and now we're going to talk about the writing. Say to yourself, I am a writer. I am a beautiful writer. I write beautiful novels. I write best-selling novels. I write novels that fly off the shelves over and over and over. Make it part of your breathing in positivity, breathing out all of the crap that you need to let go of, and let go of it. All right, so we have got a plan. We've got a date for some of you to write that plan. Thank you for telling me about that. And now I want to know, what positive thing are you going to put in play now? Not when your plan is written, not on Monday, not an hour from now, not a minute from now. What positive thing that you are pulling up, possibly from your resistance or your despair, and turning around, turn it upside down and find the joy again. The more joy that you can attach to it, the faster it will come to you, right? So, Blue Rock, I am a beautiful writer. My novels are bestsellers. Tell me what your positive writing thing is. And if you're not a writer and you're joining in, Tell me what your positive thing is for the shape of your life. All right, more later.